everybody. Welcome to Capes Not Included right here on the DJB Productions Network. Make sure you go down and hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit the notification bell. And as always, comment and share. We have a great show for you today. But before we get into that, let me bring on my compadre, LeGrand Onslaught Jackson.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Very good. I'm very good. Welcome back to Capes Not Included. Got another great show today. What we want to talk about is Batwoman Season 1 has just concluded. And unfortunately for some of the fans, Ruby Rose, the star in the leading role as Batwoman, Kate Kane, has decided not to join the cast again for Season 2. There's a lot of different speculation, which we'll talk about what has been being advised that might be the reasons why. And we're also going to talk about their replacement. And we're going to talk about some theories that, what they're doing versus what I wish they would have done, that type of thing, that cool thing. And we'll go from there. So Batwoman Season 1, it was a sleeper. I don't want to say it was a sleeper hit, but it was a sleeper show. Is that pretty safe assumption? Yeah. Because the show itself, although it's our first incarnation since the 60s of having a live-action Batman character on television, we were pretty excited for it when it came out. Ruby Rose being assigned the Kate Kane character was pretty hot for everybody. Everybody was like, that seems pretty cool. She's a very nice-looking woman. I think she'll play the role really well. She looked great in the costume, etc. Not bad in the role. I think my problem with the show, at least as far as Season 1, was the writing a little bit. I don't know what you think. I mean, I think the storyline of her battling her sister, obviously this is an origin story of sorts for Batwoman, but I thought it was drawn out a little bit too much. I wanted to see Kate battle other Gotham villains. Like, she didn't physically need her own villains because she's taken over a mantle. Right. If that makes sense. So, to have the Riddler, to have the Penguin, Batman-esque villain characters come in and say, oh, shit, there's another Batman that just happens to be a woman. Let me fight her. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, she didn't need to spawn her own rogue gallery. I mean,
because basically, if you're looking at it, she's taken over the mantle of Batman in Gotham City. Gotham City had their own rogues gallery of villains. They have the Riddler, they have Two-Face, they have the Joker. They have them all there.
Yeah.
All she's doing is stepping in.
Right, and for that reason alone, I was hoping for a lot more like her take on how to deal with these villains, because this is her first time interacting with them, in a sense. And the scenario of Bruce would have did it this way, but I'm going to deal with it that way. We kind of got a taste of this in Batman Beyond, the Return of the Joker, where we see Terry McGinnis deal with the Joker in a slightly different way than Bruce would have in order to win the battle.
Terry didn't have the same history with the Joker that Bruce did. Right. So he had no, like I said, it was no emotional connection. It was no mental connection. It was, I got to deal with this now.
Yes. And and being someone that never dealt with him before.
Right.
Yeah. This is like, I'm not precursor to the history of this character. Like I'm dealing with him for the first time. This is how I want to do it. Like I don't need coaching from Bruce on this character because I'm Terry McGinnis. And that's what I wanted to see from Kate Kane, to have the same thing, like where she's like, this is how I want to deal with it, that type of thing. And we didn't get that, unfortunately, in Season 1.
You know what? One thing that messes me up with you right now, you have not said her name correctly, because it has to be Batwoman.
Here's up to there, Adam West.
I'm sorry. I love Adam West, and just that delivery is everything for me. But I'm right there with you. It's a lot of direction that they could have went with this. I mean, don't get me wrong. You have to tell the origin story because it is who she is. She's Bruce Wayne's
Right.
cousin. She's coming in. Bruce saved her when she was a child as Batman. It's just a bunch of from the show. It's just a
Well,
bunch of
sure.
things that they're going. But okay, Bruce is gone, but the villains aren't. They escape from Arkham every 37 days. I mean, they haven't been able to hold on to a serious supervillain for any length of time. It didn't want to be there.
True. Very
So
true.
why is it that we have to get this whole new cast of villains? And that's just here nor there. Um, I seem to be jumping all over the place, but I say that to say this. For what they were doing and how they were presenting it, Ruby Rose did a hell of a job. She is
Yeah.
she's touted for not being like the greatest actress and all that. They say some of her best work was in the John Wick movie when she didn't speak. But and that's harsh, man. I actually like Ruby Rose.
She was pretty good in the John Wick movie. I
She
just
was
watched
awesome.
it.
I
Yeah.
liked her in the Meg. I mean,
You know what I noticed? I just watched her in Triple X,
uh-huh.
the return of
Xander Cage.
Xander Cage, and I was like, there you go. I mean, she plays the same part in every show except for Orange is the New Black. In Orange
Right.
is the New Black, she just totally was like, yo, I'm a hot lesbian. Let's just do this up. But in every other show, she's just this badass hot lesbian. You know what I mean? Like type of thing. I will give her kudos in the role because other than the animated movie, we never saw Batwoman
Right.
per se. So we're getting a first take, which could be in the Michael Keaton-esque scenario. Like
Yes.
this is gonna be the benchmark until somebody changes it.
Right.
So I mean, we get that. I gotta say, her love scenes with like the bartender
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that, they were some of the sexiest scenes I've ever seen on television. The woman is sexy as hell. She really, really is. For someone that looks like Justin Bieber,
She does not look like Justin Bieber.
a lot of times she looks like Justin Bieber, but
She does
that's
not.
either an insult to her or a compliment to him. I don't know which one it is, but
Both.
both. Yeah, right. But like some of the sexiest things, and I got the Bruce Wayne vibe when she's betting these women. And she didn't do a lot of it. She just was with the one girl who pissed me off because she turned her back on her.
Right.
And then you had the bartender who was like, that's just really hot, like one night stand sex. I love this, and so that was kind of cool with that. I thought, and this is CW's fault. This is not Batwoman's fault. I thought they were getting a little too preachy with the lesbian community. They say a couple things here and there, but like in 2020, I just don't think it's necessary to kind of push it like that. If it was 10 years ago, maybe. Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying, and I kind of get it, but for me, it just seems like they're trying to capitalize,
Well,
like everybody else.
yeah.
Whatever's a hot button topic, I'm going to throw my 2 cents in. And it just seems like they didn't care, but they did it for marketing for me.
Yeah, yeah. Now, the funny thing is you and I have gone back and forth on Black Lightning on
Right.
the race card that they play on that show.
Right.
And I said, and I would a lot of times say, all right, you have your soapbox, but let's not stay up there too long. Let's fight.
Right.
Let's fight some supervillains, and and forget that this is not Roots Part 3. You know what I mean? Like in other words, and you would go back with me and stuff like that. But unfortunately, based on today, and based on what's going on in our world today, Black Lightning is more relevant than any show on CW. So,
Tried to tell you.
you didn't try to tell me. Well, you weren't forecasting anything. But the scenario is with Batwoman. Now, I'm sure there are, and I have plenty of gay and lesbian friends, and they tell me about, because like that's one of those things where it's not really visible in a lot of media. what kind of trouble and strife they go through in that community. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, oh well, be together. Because I don't care. You know what I mean? I guess it's out of sight, out of mind in a sense. And you can't blame me for that because I'm one of the ones that support you. I'm not jumping in a fucking rally. I'm not, doing this. You live your life. Do your thing. That's all good. Be a good person. I just want you to be a good person. I don't care what the hell you do. You know what I mean? But in the lesbian and gay community, I mean, of course there are struggles. I mean, they only recently are able to marry. What? How many years ago? Not that many years ago. 4 years ago, maybe. So I mean, I get that. They still have a lot of miles to walk before they feel like they're fine. I thought it was taking them back a little bit in Batwoman, if that makes sense. Like, in other words, like, I think we already got past this, and I think they were just kind of re-emphasizing that main struggle. Like, you see that one scene where she's in the restaurant with the ex-girlfriend, and she fights with the maitre d' because he kind of discriminates against her because he sees that they're lesbians.
Right.
You remember that? Like, and I was like, all right, you're making a point, as far as that you are a proud lesbian individual and you're not going to be shunned in that type of thing. So, I mean, I got that, but I'm like, all right, let's not go crazy with this. You still have to clean up Gotham. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, let's not make your social media fucking problems interfere with master villains that are trying to kill people. Because that's really what I'm tuning in for the show for, if that makes sense.
No, I hear what you're saying. But for me, I appreciate when they do things like that, because anybody can just blank canvas the whole thing and just, well, here it is, here she is. You already know the backstory. Let's move on. But, in 2020, people are still struggling with that. I mean,
and they are, and I don't want to minimize it in any way, shape, or form. I just want the show, because the entire network, you forget the entire network is very, very PC, and they have gay, lesbian, and transgender representation on just about every show that they have. So,
which is awesome.
But network, I don't need you to prove it to me anymore. There's a point where it's like, all right, dude, you're shoving it down my throat. Okay. And not in the sense that I'm pushing it away, but like, all right, dude, you're getting in the way of why I'm tuning into the show. Yeah, I mean, like, I want to see Batwoman beat somebody's ass.
And you get that.
Yeah, you do. But I don't want to be distracted. You know what I mean? So.
You like to watch the lesbian scenes, but
I like to watch the lesbian scenes. Yeah. You know what? Yeah.
Whatever. It is what it is. Right now, let's talk about who they are looking at to replace Ruby.
Yes. Now, the story is, from what I read, show-wise, is that they are replacing Kate Kane with a completely different character. So, in other words, they're not recasting Kate Kane at all, which I was weary about. If you don't get the right actress to take over for Ruby Rose, this could make for a problem, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
They're completely going a different route where they're like, in some way, shape, or form, and they do not have the details out on this yet, but that the Ruby Rose's Kate Kane is going away in some way, shape, or form, either by leaving or dying. It's only one or the other. It's one of the two things. Right?
Yeah, I can't see them killing her off.
No, how tragic would that be? And then you're having this brand new character coming in, equally as fierce in the lesbian and gay community as far as the character is concerned. So they're keeping up with the dynamic of the character supporting gay rights, that type of thing, which is cool because that's, I think, was an underlining scenario for Batwoman, at least in the comics, as an example. But they're changing the character completely, so someone else is going to jump in there and take over the reins and fight Gotham again. Now, this affects the shows in a lot of different ways. Obviously, Alice is, unless they write it in some way where Alice shifts her anger towards this new Batwoman because of the loss of her sister. Alice goes away because her sister and her reunite and go off into the sunset together. Or Alice dies and we get a whole brand new Rose Gallery. That's
Right.
the only ways that it works in that same. I thought that this would be the best way to do this without changing the character, because in the comic books, and I'm not completely up on the Batwoman comic, but as far as I know, she's still the only Batwoman so far.
Right.
I don't think there's a different Batwoman so far. But with, if you notice that Alice has got this knack for taking people's faces
Mm-hmm.
and blah 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 and making different faces, that type of thing. My thing would have been that she somehow captures Kate, and in efforts to get her final digs into her sister for abandoning her or something like that, changes her face, does like a face off. Remember, like with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Replaces the faces with some villain who's going to make Kate Kane look like an outlaw, right?
Right.
So now Kate Kane's being blamed for robberies and murder and this, that, and the other thing. And this other girl is, or she's doing it, but she's not getting blamed for it. This other girl does it, and now Kate is wearing her face. So
Right.
Kate's being chased by the cops and blah blah blah. I'm Kate Kane. No, the fuck you're not. I'm going to shoot you. You know, that type of thing.
Right.
And she has to like kind of prove to Luke, to the sister, and everybody that, hey, I'm not this bad girl that everybody's looking for. I'm Batwoman. I'm Kate. You know, blah blah blah. And then in some way, shape, or form, the girl that has Ruby Rose's face, who's the bad girl, right,
Mm-hmm.
gets blown up. So there goes Ruby's face.
Right.
And now Kate Kane is stuck with this new face. Proves her innocence to who she needs to, like Luke and blah, blah, blah. But is now stuck with this new face, hence your new actress.
Right.
We still have Kate Kane as Batwoman, just played by somebody different. That's the way I would have done it. I don't know if you like that or don't like it, but I think if we're going to borrow from shit on a regular basis, let's borrow from something good. You know what I mean? And do it like that. That's the way I would have wrote it. And how simplistic is that? That you create this little mini story arc where it's like this final battle between Alice and Kate. And Kate, or Alice gets the last laugh.
Right.
At the very end, you know, with that, because now Kate doesn't look like Kate no more. Kate looks like this other hot lesbian. Because she's got to be a really hot lesbian. That's going to keep me watching it. You know what I mean? At that point,
Like, no matter what, she's just got to be a hot.
She's got to be a hot lesbian, and she's got to get with that bartender again because that bartender's hot.
Jesus. Or
forget
Alfred's niece.
Forget about Gotham for a second.
You got to get with the hot bartender, Alfred's
Yeah.
niece, her ex from the military academy.
Exactly. Yeah, get with all that. And you've got a brand new slate in life because now your shit's erased because it's a new face.
No, it's not.
Fuck yeah.
It's not erased because now you're stuck with that person's past.
Well, now you get to do two things. Now you get to redeem this person because you are this person now. Right? and you know, you go from there. But I mean, that's the way I would have recast. That's the way I would have recasted it. And it does that kind of make sense though to you?
It does in a way
because it's very comic. What I propose is very comic booky.
Yes, very extremely, and that's why I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But you know, in the world of TV, especially when you're dealing with superhero TV and all that, you need the comeback. So by having her chase whomever off into the distance and replacing her, coming up with her, I don't know how they're going to, is she going to come up with her replacement? Like, is Alfred's niece going to be the replacement? Are we going to get Alicia Silverstone to come in? You know, that type of deal, however they're going to do it. Because who's to say and I hate to say it like this, if this survives a second season, because the way they're talking,
It
by
doesn't.
her stepping away, this is it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This show
Well,
is
well,
dead.
let's understand this for a second. You're talking about that. This is um, something that was not expected by the the producers and everything like that. Ruby
Right.
Rose stepping away. Nobody knew about that. Nobody knew what was going on. So that scenario you're talking about is one of those things where you're like, we got to like shuffle and do
No, and
something.
I get it. But who knew that she was going to get banged up so much doing this show?
And for all intents and purposes, this is her year one.
Yeah.
So for her to be replaced after year one is like, what is that about? Like in other words, I'm not invested enough for her to ride off into the sunset. Because it's like I'm at the point where it's like, dude, I'll drive you. I'll drop you off at the Home Depot and let you
Oh,
get
shit.
supplies and then take you to the bus. You know what I mean? Like I don't know you like that. You're not someone that's like I'm seeing or
Take her
whatever.
to Home Depot and leave her.
Yeah, just leave her right there at Home Depot. It's all good. You know what I mean? But
Jesus,
like
how
you
heartless are
understand?
you?
Like she's got a new face. But you know what I mean? Like that. That's my point though. Like the writers are in a behind the eight ball with this because of the fact that you're like, we don't really, as a fan base of this show, have as much invested in it as we need to in order for this to try to survive past this recasting. If
Right.
this was 3 seasons in and we got recasted, now of course the opportunity of a cancellation is still very prevalent at that point
Right.
when you do it, whenever you do a recasting. But I think because you would have a steady fan base, they are more loyal or more likely to try and give it a shot than now, because fans were up and down with the show.
Right.
Ratings were up and down, that type of thing. It was kind of boring for the first half of the season. I
Well,
thought Alice was great. Did you like Alice? I liked Alice.
I love Alice.
I thought I mean, granted, she is her Joker in a sense,
Exactly.
but she wasn't the Joker, which I liked. You know what I mean? Like Alice was Alice, and that. I mean, granted, it's like, does Batman always have to fight a crazy person? I suppose so. I guess.
Because let's
But
face it, Batman himself was crazy.
exactly. Exactly. So, like, with this being said, I think Alice was
Wrestling with
like a
your own
really.
psychosis.
I thought she was great. I thought the dynamic was good. But the problem I had with the whole storyline was that she was too close to Alice throughout this entire I'm chasing you as a bad girl, good girl type of thing. Like, in
Mm-hmm.
other words, there was too much redeeming. There was too many redeeming qualities of Alice because you felt bad for Alice. Alice, you're like, she just wants her sister back. And she
Right.
just wants her wife back. But Alice is like too far gone. And you get those glimpses of Beth, I should say.
Right.
And you're like, oh, maybe she's going to turn. Maybe she's going to like say, the hell with it. And I'm going to help Kane or whatever, or, I'm going to help Kate and whatever. And that doesn't
And then she
happen.
beat somebody to death with a rock.
Yeah, I mean, and then she killed Mouse, and you're like, oh, she killed Mouse. Now what's going to be it for Alice? Is Alice going to be like completely crazy because of this type of thing? So, with that being said, it's one of those things where, she's an endearing character, but, at what point do we not put a bullet in her head? You know what I mean? Enough's enough. Either you're this way or you're that way. Let's pick a side, lady.
Jeez, dude.
Well, you know what? I got
He's
stuff to
family,
do.
man.
I got stuff to do. There's other shows on. There's The Flash. The Flash is fighting King Shark. you know what I mean? Like, come on. But in your first season, I think that was a struggle for a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people, because a lot of people I saw on Facebook and other social medias talking about the show were like, "Wow, this is boring." You always get that, like, this isn't the comic, blah blah blah, because those guys are just don't watch television if you're that guy, because you're never going to be satisfied with anything
Right.
on television or movie. But the people were saying, a lot of people were saying, oh, this is boring, oh, this sucks. It's bullshit. And a lot of the comments were because of just strictly the writing of that show was like, all right, okay, okay, like
I
I did.
guess the problem was it seems like they were focusing in on the wrong thing for too long, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. That's
that's
correct.
basically all it is. Some people get tunnel vision when it comes to things like that.
Right.
Ooh,
And
this would be really cool. And you know what? We can expand on this and this, that, and the other, and so forth and so on. And you're looking at this like fun size Snickers bar right here, and you got the chocolate factory over there that you could like. I shouldn't have said that with R. Kelly and all that, but okay, Willy Wonka. So you got
left Twix and right Twix.
yeah, exactly. It's just one of those. Come on, man.
I
But
mean,
I just hope
she
whoever
has a
they
lot.
pick.
Yeah,
I just hope whoever the final pick is, that one, the fans give her a chance
yeah,
because this you're coming in off of trying to replace a major star, whether you like it or not. Ruby Rhodes is a major star.
yeah. That's
But
why I got her.
despite whatever you think of her acting ability, she is a major star. Two, you're trying to reestablish an already well-established character, whether liked or hated, and try to make them like you.
Right.
So now
Yeah.
the people who didn't like Ruby Rose and didn't like her interpretation of Batwoman have already come in jaded.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, let's see this shit show. See how this one's gonna
And
fuck
that's
it
if
up.
they come back. That's if they come back.
Yeah, if they come back. I
Yeah.
personally am gonna come back for season.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
me and my daughter absolutely loved Batwoman. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I was in love with it like I was in love with Arrow or Flash, because I honestly had a lot of trouble with the writing. I thought it was slow. And you know what? As Kate Kane, well, here's the deal. I thought we did not see enough Batwoman, first off.
Right.
And we honestly did not see enough Kate Kane interaction with the public. Here's a woman that comes out of nowhere. She has all this money because she has all Bruce's money.
Right.
And she's taking over like Wayne Enterprises in a sense. And we really don't know what the fuck she's doing. You have no idea what she's doing. You have no idea what her social landscape is in Gotham.
Right.
Other than her interaction with the Crows because of her father and the ex-girlfriend.
Right.
And that's it. Like there was no establishment of Kate Kane as a prominent figure. Like she could have left on a bus tomorrow and nobody would have given a shit.
Right.
And that's kind of the feeling I have with this recasting. Because it's so soon, because we didn't really have a lot of character development. You got the most character development with her in the crossover, for when she became a Paragon for whatever reason. And the only reason she was a Paragon is her fucking show was coming out. Otherwise there was no reason for her. Let's face it. Now, to get into why is recastings happening, there were several different theories on what was happening. There were several different things. Nothing really was confirmed completely.
Right.
She did have back surgery, major back surgery, because of some herniated discs that happened during the filming of the season 1. Okay.
Right.
That they caught it in enough time that it did not cause any permanent damage. But she was at the point where if she didn't go in and get the surgery and stuff like that, she could have been pretty fucked up. She might have been crippled or whatever, from this. So that means a serious injury. And so some people are like, well, could it be that the payout of this show and the rigorous schedule of this show, and because she's from Australia, and this is being filmed in Canada and in Los Angeles, both. So is it one of those scenarios where is it not worth the effort? Was it not worth the payout for me potentially to hurt myself further since this happened? I got hurt pretty bad, type of thing, whatever the case is. And they say no. She said no. This is not about my injuries or anything like that. But that's a pretty comparable scenario to say, hey, does she feel like the payout is not worth it. Like, how many times in wrestling did we see somebody retire early because they wanted to do acting and they wanted to be able to walk?
Right.
After, you know what I mean? Like, you retire early because you don't see the payout for me to stay in this
I'm sitting up
longer.
here doing all these hardcore matches and getting my brains bashed in.
Yeah.
By the time I'm done, I'm making sandcastles out of pudding. Now, let me walk away now and
Yeah.
try to do something else while I still have my faculties. I get
Right.
it.
And I kind of get that. And it would not be a shameful thing to say, hey, you know what? Considering what's going on, I don't like it. Now, another scenario was, and they didn't confirm on this or not, was that she had mentioned that, she was very homesick for Australia because you're living in LA
Hmm.
for the time period that you're filming, which could
Right.
be for a number of months, 3-4 months, out of the year, which is not a terrible long time, but who knows with her? You know what I mean? She's coming from a different country altogether. Um, she the theory is that she was being more homesick, wasn't into the long recording schedules and being away from home as far, whereas where the feeling was that she could probably do better for herself in Australia, do shows locally where she could stay in her home country and be
Right.
closer to home and do stuff. So I mean, in my eyes, is that going to hurt you as a person who's getting this is her first lead role? Understand that as an actress, this is her first lead role, and she walked away from it. Now, not to go back to wrestling again, but how many times have we had wrestlers get a push? They come in, get a push, they can't take the schedule, and they get out of wrestling.
Can't take the schedule, can't take the pressure.
There
Just
was that
can't find my smile.
Australian wrestler, if you remember, big bald guy, came in, got a slight push, stuff like that, couldn't do the schedule, and just left the WWF altogether.
Hmm.
All right. And this is something similar to that, where it's like you can't hack it. Not to say it in any other different way, but you can't hack it right now. And is this something where, honey, you're always going to be a second role person because of your own restrictions? And I mean, this is a major role. It's a worldwide role. It's a character that anybody in any country in the world could look at and be like, "Oh, I love this." And she turned it down. Now that's what hurt. I'm not going to fault her or whatever the case is, but
Look, man,
I don't see Ruby Rose getting any other lead roles anytime soon. Let's put it that way, because of that.
I all right, I'm gonna just say it like this.
Yeah.
And I say it to you, I say it to everybody, and I'm saying it to her. If that's the case, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand that when you get thrust in a position and you think it's level 5, but it's level 1,000 and you don't
Yeah.
know what to do or how to handle it, I get it. You're
Right.
sitting up there and you think you're taking this little BS acting job that could make something really good happen and boost your career and so forth and so on. But then you are thrust with the responsibility of representing not
Mm-hmm.
only a marketing brand, a network, and a community. All eyes from around the world are now on you.
Right.
I get it. You're
Right.
miles away from home for a long ass time. Nothing is familiar. And you got leeches trying to latch on to you because they see that this could be something good that they could benefit of.
Right.
And it just gets to be too much. So if the fact that that's where it was for her and she needed to step away because it was too much pressure and it was just the magnitude of it all was just too much for her, I don't fault her one bit.
No, and I
Some
don't.
people ain't
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah, I don't fault her for it. But I mean, it is what it is, and that's what you're going to do. Hopefully, season 2 will be good. Let's hope for that. What a great show we had today. I
Yep.
hope everybody enjoys it. Comment, let us know what you think down in the comments about what you're expecting out of season 2. Should it be canceled? So they just say to hell with it. I mean, should they go on and maybe it'll be better? Because sometimes recastings are a good thing. You never know. Best of luck to Ruby Rose in all she's going to do. Because once again, like I said, I enjoyed her as Batwoman. I thought she did pretty good. So we'll catch you next time. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit the notification bell. And make sure you leave some comments down below and share the channel. Make sure you're subscribing right here to DJB Productions Network. You can go to www.djbproductionsnetwork.com. It'll take you right here, and you'll be all set. So much shows on. There's so many shows on here. So much content. You're going to want to jump on here. So for my good friend LeGrand Jackson, my name is Danny J. Until next time, keep your cape in the wind and your eyes to the stars. We'll see you next time.